Hey guys, Slater Magic here, and I don't typically make these types of videos, but I just thought it would help some people out because, well, I just made some money off it. It's this lovely pyramid scheme. No, I'm just kidding. It's card prices. Now, if you're anything like me, and, well, you're watching this channel, you don't keep up with the top net decks because you don't give a crap. And unless everybody at your local gaming store is a net decking sheep, you may or may not have a very good idea of what cards just went up. In fact, I was sitting on a couple cards that I had no idea had hit the 5+ mark, so I liquidated those pretty quickly. So if anything, this video will help you not get trade sharked, and even on accident, not even trade sharked, just an unknowing uneven trade. Once again, if you're like me and you're totally poor and can't afford a smartphone, then, you might not be able to look up every card value on the fly. Well, I might as well start with Kaladesh, the least exciting one. Chandra's sitting at 25, and by the way, I'm using Card Kingdom's prices, just because. When you want to know an accurate high price, do not go to tcgplayer.com. Those high prices are pretend, okay? They are a fantasy. If you want to know a true low price, okay, they're all right. If you want to know a true low price, I'd just go to eBay. That's a little bit more accurate. But Card Kingdom seems to be on it. Their prices seem to be very, very close to reality, very realistic. They don't let people buy 3 copies of something and spike the price to $15, when in reality, nobody in their right mind would pay $15, and that's what TCG Player does. They've, allegedly, they claim they've tried to fix it lately. They did not. So I don't use them. Anyway, Chandra's at 25, Torrential Gearhulk is at 15, Smuggler's Copter is at 12. That's actually surprising that Torrential Gearhulk is beating Smugglers. Spire Bluff is the winning dual land at $9, and of course Aetherworks Marvel at $8. I'm actually surprised it's that low. Verdurous Gearhulk, the one that everybody thought would just go nuts, but honestly green's not very strong right now, $8. Now here's a shocker. Nissa, Nature's Artisan, is at $7, as is Nissa Vital Force. So when I said, yeah, there's a use for that card, it actually is useful. Her first ability is like, what do you do? What decision does your opponent make? Who do they swing at? The 8 loyalty or the 23 life? As it turns out, yeah, that is a problem. Considering the price of the Planeswalkers decks, and then the fact that you get 2 boosters with it, you might be able to just rip apart one, sell just Nissa, and make a profit. Of course, that's if you could sell it at absolute retail. Noxious Gearhulk is surprisingly at $7, even though it's part of one of the most annoying ETB bounce combos I've ever seen in my entire life. Next up, we've got Sky Sovereign Console Flagship at $6, and Saheeli Rai at $5.49, and then finally Chandra Pyro Genius all the way at $5, which even that's a little generous. And of course, Dovin Bond's at $5, Inspiring Vantage is at $5, Panharmonicon is only $5 because it's in kind of a second-rate top-tier deck. And then after that, everything is 4 and under, so really no surprises there at all. Well, minor surprises, but nothing just shot up to the moon. Now, the first thing I see when I look at Eldritch Moon is a $46 Liliana the Last Hope. You know how Chandra started at like some pretend magical price of like 60 or whatever the hell she was, and then went down after about 5 seconds? Yeah, she's all the way down at whatever I just said she was, but Liliana from Eldritch Moon, $46 still. I don't think you can get her below like 35 or 36 even on eBay. She is crazy powerful. Now next is the shocker to end all shockers, except everybody probably at this point has heard that Delirium is like kind of popular. So Grim Flayer, the 2-cost mythic from Eldritch Moon, which I believe you could barely give away a while ago, $23 a card. I'm not just kicking myself, I'm kicking myself in the nuts over this one. I believe I sold these on a buy list for like $2 or $3 or something. I thought, haha, idiots. To which they reply a couple months later, haha, idiot. So if you have any Grim Flayers laying around because you pulled one, you're like, oh, cool, mythic. You've got $23 sitting in your frickin' trade binder. Holy crap. Now next up, and this surprises nobody, Emrakul. Now she did kind of fall a bit. Still $20 now though, kind of a surge in popularity. Equally as surprising, Gisela the Broken Blade, $15. And I checked, she's only $13 on eBay, and you can get the foil version for about $15.50 on eBay. What? That's not even 20% up. I mean, it's a foil mythic, and it used to be the most powerful card in the set, arguably. I remember my foil Gusella that I pulled at the pre-release was worth like $80, I think, or 75 or something like that on the open market. I guess she's good. I mean, she's amazing. She's astonishingly powerful, but she's not in any popular decks. Or I should say super top, super popular decks, because it could be a second-rate net deck that kind of, maybe crept in 8th at a tournament. Nobody cares. Nobody's touching it. People are that hardcore into net decking. They're not going to play a deck they like. They're going to play what they perceive as the most winning deck. Now, Tamiyo's still cruising in around 11. I mean, that's actually kind of surprising considering she's 3-color. Everybody kind of saw that as a drawback. Ishkana, which I still maintain to this day, is not as good as people think she is, but, Delirium, yeah. I mean, Delirium's easy to get and it's the top deck. Okay, I get it. But other than that, pretty crappy card. What's not a crappy card is Selfless Spirit, which is allegedly $9. In reality, on eBay, it's about 11. So, whoops, Card Kingdom screwed up. I mean, this card, I think it's still expensive because, one, blue-white spirit control or whatever color mix that is, and also modern. This is bare minimum a modern sideboard card. I mean, it's anti-board wipe, it's 2 damage in the air for 2, it's not even double white, it's just a good card. I don't think this will go down anytime in the future. But what did tank is Spell Queller, the legend itself, $8. Ouch, hope you got rid of those. Next up, and this one I had a whole bunch of, Collective Brutality. Now you look at what it does and you think, yeah, that's powerful. And honestly, I don't even know what deck this goes in. I would think probably Green-Black Delirium, but I don't know. I honestly don't care either. It's not a lack of knowledge, it's me purposely not giving a crap about net decks. People like to screw that up in my comment section quite often. So $7 a card for Collective Brutality, and that is exactly what they are on eBay, so there you go. And then there's a gigantic leap down to Thalia Heretic Cathar, which everybody knows, pure white or mono white humans. Went a little Hitler for a second there, I meant mono white humans. $3.50 each. And then here, this one's a surprise too. Eldritch Moon is just one giant surprise. $3.50 for Tree of Perdition. I think it was $3.50 on launch day. I remember not even being able to sell these things very quickly. $2.50 for Bedlam Reveler, and then $2.50 for Eldritch Evolution. That card in some circumstances is a better version of Chord of Calling. I guess the modern decks that run Chord would not be those circumstances. Next up, we've got Shadows over Innistrad. No surprise here. Guess what the big winner is? That's right, $24 Archangel Avacyn. She's so powerful, most people who know what they're talking about consider her a design mistake. You know that's always a good sign. Well, unless you want to play a fair game of Magic, that is. Now this one I had no idea about. Nahiri the Harbinger, $22. I mean, what was she in? Red White Vehicles? I don't even freaking know. I mean, she's just good. She is just plain old straight up good. And with Oath of Ajani coming out, it's possible she might maintain that price. Kind of a little bit of a non-color match there, but who knows? Now, unfortunately, Shadows over Innistrad is kind of a joke right now because even Jace, which is a pretty good Jace, $11. Below that, no surprise, Thing in the Ice is still floating in around $9. Honestly, I personally thought it was worth less. And then the next most valuable card is Arlen Cord, which is somehow at $8, while Sorin Grim Nemesis is at $7. Jeez, Sorin, you're not looking so good lately. Deck and Stone, the unbelievably powerful multi-exile version of Bile Blight, basically. Still $5.50. Relentless Dead, still $5.50. No surprise there. I think Black Zombies is still really powerful. Then, of course, Tireless Tracker is $5. Pretty much everything else is garbage except for Game Trail, which is $4.50. Didn't see that coming. But, the Ormondal Flippy Land, $4. It's called Westvale Abbey if you want to actually look it up. Pretty much everything else is total crap. I will say, though, if you've got some prized amalgams floating around, $3.50 a piece, not bad. Oh, there's one more card from Shadows I have to mention. I have no explanation for this, but one of the most powerful white spells ever printed in the history of the game, $2 for Always Watching. That just doesn't seem possible. It just doesn't. I guess people really don't like the double white. Oh my god, it's not even legendary, people. Next up, let's stop back in Oath of the Gatewatch, and you're probably thinking to yourself, haha, Des, you're funny. What's possibly valuable in Oath of the Gatewatch? Nothing? Yes, nothing. Okay, there's one card. Kalitas, Trader of Gat, $23. I'm starting to think there might be a zombie deck out there somewhere. I haven't seen it, but kind of hard to see it if I don't go looking for net decks. I can't believe this guy's still $23. That is just mind-blowing. Next below it is Kozilek's Return at $8.50. That sounds awfully high to me. And then below that, obviously, Nissa, Voice of Zendikar. Really good version of Nissa there. 3 cost. Love it. Watch out, that one might go up with the Ajani Oath card because, well, you could get her out on turn, 3. It would still be 3 because you have to get out Oath on turn 2. I don't know if people are realizing that. Surprisingly, Thought Not Seer is still $6. I thought it was lower. And then Chandra's at 5. Eldrazi Displacer, big old Flicker card. That one's at 5. It's not that big into Flicker right now. Wandering Fumarole is still $5, allegedly. And Worldbreaker is $4.50. Every single one of those, I'm pretty sure, is $2 above eBay, though, so that might have them a little high. Everything else there is crap, so let's go to Battle for Zendikar. They've got Gideon at $28, which seems a little higher than I just sold mine for. You know, I thought he was like $10, honestly. I just looked him up. Nah, he's like $24 on eBay. All right. So yeah, they got him at $28, and honestly, he's worth it. He's a planeswalker and a creature and indestructible. Massive, massive damage coming at you. Indestructible. Drops out blockers. I mean, any kind of creature ETB effect, or you can just use him as an emblem. The only problem is they didn't give him haste, and I think honestly they didn't do that on accident. They did that on purpose. So his +1 on his first turn quite literally does nothing. It actually opens him up to being like force sacrificed. And of course, with Oath of Ajani, he's only going to stay there or go higher. So if you have one, you might not want to sell it now, but it's worth probably a lot more than you thought. I'm so glad I sold my 3 foil Gideons. Yes, I had 3 foil Gideons for like 31 a piece like 2 months ago. That was awesome. Next up, no surprise here, Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger at $15, kind of making a resurgence due to Aetherworks Marvel. Well, that and a couple other decks, a couple other cards. And then after that, it just falls off. Nothing else above $5. You got a $4.50 Cinderglade, $4.50 Drana, $4.50 Ob Nixilis. I would definitely pick that up for anything, for literally no reason. Just $4.50, just go buy them. And you got your Prairie Stream, your Smoldering Marsh, Dragon Master Outcast, still $3.50. He is insanely powerful. Then below that, you got Kiora, Shambling Vents. I mean, if you want to pick one up for Commander, $3.50. Hey, Sunken Hollow, only $3.50. Part the Water Veil, $3. I'm surprised that's still worth anything. And then Canopy Vista, $2.30. Ouch. Even Voidwinter's down at $2.30, so, you know, if Omnath is down there, Oblivion Sower, Quarantine Field is under $2. I mean, come on. Ruinous Path, the Planeswalker Creature Killer, still a good card, only $1.50. So you can get some deals in BFZ, and you've still got plenty of time to play it. It is not cycling out anytime soon. So what would be my absolute pick for potential weird, janky modern decks or Commander? Believe it or not, haven't even mentioned it. The Mythic Enchantment only costs 7, which, you know, is a little high. Mind's Dilation. It says whenever an opponent casts his or her first spell each turn, that player exiles the top card of his or her library. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. That is the definition of stop hitting yourself. If this comes out, you basically slowly win the game unless your luck is absolutely terrible. This just shuts your opponent down, and it's very doable to get to 7 in Commander, especially if you mix it with green. Otherwise, just rely on the good old-fashioned staple, one of the most underrated mechanics ever, Blue Devotion. Thassa's rebuff is the devil, guys. You know, you actually can build a lot of modern decks, regardless of color, with nearly 0 generic mana cost. Like, you can do single, double, and triple blue and have a deck. We're talking like turn 3, you're generating like 9 mana or something. I mean, it's just absurd. So hey, Mind's Dilation. Why not? I would pick it up for dirt cheap. You could even get a foil of it. So hopefully you guys just jumped out of your seat and ran to go get your trade binder after hearing this video. I know I did. Multiple times, actually. Whole bunch of cards are worth more than I thought, and a whole bunch of cards are worth less than I thought. And that's the thing, you wait long enough in Magic, and honestly, almost every card goes down to a reasonable price at some point. Hopefully I just made you guys some money or saved you guys some money. Either way, I will see you guys next video.